October 9th meeting of the Darien 2020 Subcommittee of Monuments and Ceremonies. The Darien 2020 Bicentennial Committee is officially started. So this is a call to order. Thanks everybody coming on Yom Kippur on this miserable day. So there's some new people here that I want to introduce. This is Lucy Berry. She's a Middlesex history teacher, social studies teacher, and she's going to be the teacher coordinator, liaison teacher coordinator.
I went to the sewer commission meeting. So
Yeah.
that stinks. Glad you're here. I was like, I walked in and I'm sneaking. You're like,
You're not the only one.
So we just started. I'm just making introductions. It's Lucy Berry.
hi.
She's going to be the teacher liaison. She teaches history, social studies at Middlesex.
Thank you for joining us.
Yeah. And then Martha's here, and she works in P&Z, and she's also on the opening ceremony committee. She's doing the time schedule for that, and as well as other things. So she's helped us a lot getting things through P&Z. And then, pardon me?
Is there any?
No
No worries if there isn't. I just raced out so quickly.
So I got this, yeah, I got the schedule,
Do you just want to-
agenda.
That'd be great. Oh,
Oh, you want a pad? Oh, I'll hand up to me the pad? Yeah, no, I've got extra paper.
okay, but usually you hand something out this one.
Yes, I do. And then, so Martha, everybody knows Susan Papson. There, we'll get her Suzanne with a Z. Got that right. And then Carl Bocadoro. He's helping out a lot on Heritage Day. And he works at New Canaan School. He's a member of the 5th Regiment, and he'll be doing some of the reenactments that we have planned.
I see you usually dress differently.
Yeah, right, yeah, right. Today he's reenacting. The other days he's.
the 21st century.
So just so everybody's aware, we are being filmed. So just be aware of that. And it will be recorded and saved. So those are the introductions. So I've got some agendas here I can pass out. Yeah, we do not have a quorum, but to tell you the truth, I don't think any votes are going to be taken today. In fact, we can't take any votes because we do not have a quorum, but we can still meet and discuss.
Mia is on her way. She had.
Right, she emailed me. She said she'd be a little late.
Yes.
Here's,
I will, sure.
I know, it's, print this in.
There's the name of Thank you.
okay, so everybody please read the minutes and then we'll have a discussion and vote to approve or disapprove. Oh, that's right, we can't vote. So take them home.
I was wondering about
That's
that.
right, thank you. Take them home
Take
and
'em home.
next month we can vote.
Did anyone have any notes? I could go ahead and update them if anyone had any changes.
Nothing preliminary, no.
Okay.
We might have a few more people trickle in from
Yeah.
the sewer commission.
So we will approve the minutes hopefully next month. So the first thing on the agenda is finances and contributions. I presented to the Board of Selectmen and I presented to the RTM our estimates. Thank you again everyone for their estimates. So they approved $75,000 that we can accept donations up to $75,000 for our events and projects. Also, we got an extra $10,000 from the town, so the Board of Selectmen did vote on that. That's thanks to Jamie, so that's an extra $10,000.
The other two. Yeah, the more important one.
Right. And thanks to everybody for their donations. So Libby, do you want to talk to a little bit about our finances?
Yes, so far to date, we've raised $1,450 in individual donations that are starting to trickle in. A
that's
few of
really
them have
good.
been from the the board itself and people involved, but we've started getting people from the wide public. And so we're moving along, you
Yeah.
know. Got a couple of expenses, but, you know, gathering steam.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it
We
is.
talked
We've
about doing some sort of wall of heroes or wall of whatever. I mean, are we gonna
Right.
do something where we have just a click on the website just so that people can be acknowledged? It doesn't, we won't say their amount, but like people who have contributed, is there a way?
I think that'd be good, so we're gonna send out a thank you letter, that's something we
Right, yeah,
still
we
have to
gotta
do.
get that moving, yep.
And we've got the stuff from our finance director, you know, talking about tax deductions.
Yes.
And we got
Okay.
the wording from them too, but she has an actual letter that is sent out anytime
Okay.
people make a donation.
Right.
So we will do that, and then, yeah, we should,
Is it like
Later
an
talk about-
amount, or just for everybody who gave? or-
anybody who gave, they should be acknowledged. You know, we were gonna acknowledge the companies who are sponsoring it.
Right.
Yeah,
But I think it would be good to acknowledge on the website individual sponsors,
Mhm.
Did you want to do something like patrons, like, you know, gold star, silver star, anything kind of like that, like?
Yeah,
like
that's
Look
what I
a-
into
was
that.
I'll
Let's,
look into
let's
that.
get past the sponsor thing and then we
Yeah.
can do
Okay.
that,
Yeah,
like,
that-
just a thought.
if I
no, I think
maybe
that's a really great
certain
idea, but I think it
amounts
should
or-
be general,
Yeah.
so, you know, like, well, tell me what you think, Suzanne, but, you know, so that there's a lot of room within, so if someone can only give $25,
Yeah.
it's not like up to 100, maybe it's like 500 and below or something,
Right,
just
yeah.
so
Yeah,
that it
right.
doesn't
Right,
make people
right.
weird, feel
Absolutely.
weird.
Right,
Um,
oh, I agree then, yeah.
and then tax-wise, I believe you only have to, let's see how cumbersome that is, but I believe you only have to issue a letter if it's $100 or above.
Okay,
But at least if people are acknowledged on the wall,
right.
you know, which is
Right.
Did they
nice
change that? 'Cause
communal.
didn't it used to be 250?
I believe it's 100, but you know what? We can double check that,
Yeah.
so.
Okay, that would be nice.
I'd
If
look
it was
for
250, it
100.
would be very
I would be
nice.
just making myself crazy, but
I thought it was 250.
And,
Okay, I
and
didn't
did we
realize that.
find out about online
I
operability
think
with
we
that?
decided
or-
we could.
Yeah,
right.
I think
The,
that's not
the
gonna be
fee
available.
structure and that kind of,
Can I,
logistics
so
of
the town
that.
would only send out a thank you letter if it's like, if there's a certain amount or
That's
below,
what-
but we should then like gather up those names and maybe send also a thank you note.
No.
Well, there's two
So-
different things going on. One is what you're required to do. and
Which
it's
is
right
the
now.
letter,
But you
yeah.
can always choose to say, we're gonna send a thank you to everyone,
Right.
which I think
Yeah.
is the nice
Absolutely.
thing.
Maybe I think
you
we
know,
do
let's
that,
see
like-
frankly how many we
I think,
get.
wait, I'm just saying, there's so much to be done in the planning. I think towards the end, everybody gets a thank you.
Right.
Right.
Right at the end.
Just, I'm still sending thank you letters from people who donated in June, just
Right.
because it's been so busy.
Yeah.
It's just, it takes a long time to get like the
Me
personal
too.
thank you.
That makes
yeah,
you
the-
feel better?
Yeah,
Well, I think
yeah.
basically as long as
And I
it's
like
within
been
this
putting in
year,
extra
right,
time,
for
trying to
tax
get that done, so.
purposes, as long as people get the letters.
Oh, gosh.
I mean, obviously,
I
I
think
don't
that if
wanna
they're
do it by, you
acknowledged
know.
on the website, and we had that conversation about, you know, just having them on the website, like, you know, and coming up with patrons or whatever it is.
Right.
That's like, at least that's a shout out, and then that there's the tax letter, which probably should go out in a timely manner, but at the end, we can say thank you to the volunteer, we can send like a mass letter to the
Yeah.
volunteers, for this, for that.
That sounds-
Yeah,
But so, with I had this thought of getting,
I did.
someone in touch with, I have someone who might be able to help with the online, maybe maybe I should put
Okay.
him and Jennifer together.
Yeah, that'd
Because
be
it's the
good.
fee issue, but I think if the fee is required, you know, when you buy concert tickets, you can't get out of the fee. So if we just say, in order to give $50, you have to give $50 and 50 cents or whatever, then that would take that out of the formula, so,
So why don't we do this? If you give me his name
okay.
or an email, I'll make a meeting with Jennifer. I'll say one last time, we really want to
He's
go
a
over
tech
this.
genius,
Yeah.
and he's redoing all of our online contributions.
Okay,
Sean
great.
Calvillo, doesn't even know, Cap Cavia. Anyway, I'll forward that.
And if you want to attend, and obviously I'm going to help Lily and Maggie.
We'll see how that works out
Yeah.
in terms
Is
of.
he on a photography
Hmm?
business? Is he on a photography business?
I don't think so.
Oh,
He does printing.
Yeah.
He did our banners.
yeah, printing. Yeah, we used him for something. Great guy.
Oh, great. Yeah. He's very talented. He's a range of talents.
Yeah, he did that big photo we have in our office.
Oh, yeah, he does do that. He
Yeah,
does do that.
I actually
He does-
remember him now mentioning that he
He
works
was
with
doing
you.
that for the booster clubs, the posters for the booster clubs and all
Yeah,
that.
yeah, he was fantastic.
Anyhow.
Okay, good. Yeah, if you give me the information, I'll make one last meeting with Libby and me and Maggie.
Okay, when we can, yeah, really put that
Yeah.
down,
One
or
month
if we want to
out.
proceed with it,
What?
figure out what the logistics
To
are.
think about, if it's workable, Sean will just spin it out like, well, it's like but if it's not workable, it's not workable. But I mean, it won't be a lot of work for us, he
Yeah.
can do magic.
Perfect, fantastic.
So I have a question on that. So $75,000, that's what we expect everything else to cost, and the town is
Correct.
in addition, beyond like markers and the $10,000 that we have.
So, originally we got $5,000.
Right.
And there's the markers that we're looking for one sponsor to fund that. So if you take the $5,000 out and you take the sponsorship for the markers out, the estimates came up to $75,000.
Okay, that's what I was trying to get.
Now that we got an extra $10,000, we really only need to raise $65,000.
That's what I thought. Okay.
Right.
Okay.
Anything extra we raise goes back to the town. Is that right?
If we don't spend it, it goes
Right,
back to
yeah,
the town.
yeah.
Right. And that's, I think it's on the thank you.
Does it
letter
Yes, I
go
think
back
it-
to
I
the
think
town, or
generally-
can we earmark it to go to like a
We can spend it on-
historical type nonprofit, you know what I'm saying? Like,
I
could it
think
go
if
to?
If we weren't using it for this actual
Yeah.
committee, whatever excess there was gonna go back to the town.
Okay, I didn't know if that's like
We
a
would have
tax
to get-
law, or if the town can be like, it goes to the Parks Department, or something, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
I don't know that either.
Okay, or we'll
But
figure that
on
out.
the letter,
Okay.
the thank you letter from
Be a problem we can
Jennifer,
hope to get to.
it actually says that if monies are not spent, we raise more
Yeah.
than it goes to the town.
Okay.
What the town wants to do with it, we'd have to discuss it with them.
How conservative is the estimate? Does it include a little?
It's pretty high.
Yeah.
It's not outrageously high, but I didn't want to go back to the RTM and the Board of Selectmen again and ask for
Right.
more money. So it was a little
A
conservative.
little
but
in the middle.
Not overly,
Mhm.
not overly conservative. I mean,
Okay,
it
not
was-
crazy padded, but,
Yeah.
Yeah.
okay.
I mean, some of these
That's
events
good.
are more than a year out, so it's very hard.
Not plans to perfection. That's good.
So we do have to raise 65,000. If we go over up to 75,000, I don't have to go back to the town and ask for more.
Oh.
Okay. So, anybody out there in TV land, if they want to make your checks out to the town of Darien and put a comment for Darien 2020 Bicentennial and address it to the town of Darien, 2 Renshaw Road, Darien, Connecticut, 06820, and put on the envelope 2020 Bicentennial Committee. So that's it. Anything else on finances? Any other questions? Okay, then we'll move on to the events, the opening ceremony. So,
So I can speak to that. We're moving forward. There's 2 pieces to the opening ceremony, one of which is I guess we'd put the town hall cabinet in that
Right.
category, and we're collecting pieces. We've met with folks from the Mather House, and, we're just pulling together some items to put in the cabinet in town hall, which is downstairs. So there's that, and then relative to the opening ceremony, we're working with the First Selectman's Office. We've extended an invitation for a opening speaker, and we're waiting to hear back. So I don't know if you want me to.
yeah, so what we do have a keynote speaker.
Oh, has he committed?
For the keynote speaker, yeah, Scott Pelley
Oh,
is
right.
committed.
The keynote speaker is Scott Pelley, and he is committed, but we.
Bury the lead.
Well, that's because I have we have an open invitation for a
Dignitary.
dignitary to introduce Scott Pelley, and, we want to wait until we hear back from him before we can move forward. But the plan is to have a ranking dignitary introduce Scott Pelley, and then we're going to introduce a lot of our other present and former government officials
Right.
to attend, but not necessarily to speak.
So Scott will have the keynote he's a keynote speaker. He'll speak for about 25 or 30 minutes. He's a Darien resident, and I think everybody knows him. He was CBS correspondent and 60 Minutes anchor, and he just has a new book out called Truth Worth Telling. So I'm pretty excited about that.
So
Cool.
it's gonna be at the Ferguson Library.
Right.
On the 15th, if anybody.
And then
He's
Norwalk
also going to
Community.
be at
Norwalk,
Norwalk
yeah,
Community
yeah.
College on the
And the
17th, and
breakfast,
Lori,
right.
who's a committee member, but she couldn't be here, is organizing that, so
Yeah,
if you
we
want,
want-
if anybody wants, I can send you I'll have her send the link, no requirement, but he's doing like a breakfast talk at that,
Great.
so.
So his wife Jane came up and we looked at the auditorium and everything. So we're really excited about that. She wanted to scope out the place and see what kind of AV stuff we have as well. There's an issue about the balcony, but we can use the balcony. Nobody under 12 can go into the balcony. So that's one
That's good.
stipulation they said.
So that increases
They're the only
their
ones who want to go there.
Yeah, so we have seats, there will be seats for about 400 people.
Okay,
Wow, that's great.
Yeah.
And will he be addressing like history?
Yeah,
So what we're planning is, it's Friday, January 10th, 2020 for people in TV land. And the snow date is the following day. And so we're gonna have a slideshow that has a lot of history of Darien. And we'll be working, through the Historical Society and Mather to sort of run a lot of old photos of Darien. And then the events, so that's gonna start at 6:30. This is the tentative agenda. At 7, we're gonna start the presentation. So I don't know how deep he's gonna go
Right.
into Darien
Right.
history, because that would be a lot to ask of him. to
Yeah,
suddenly
no, I just wanted
be
to make sure it
a,
wasn't like,
Story.
as much as I'm a big fan of Scott Pell, I just didn't want it to be like a stop on his book tour, like,
Right.
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Not that he can't talk about his book.
Yeah, I think the angle is going to be how stories of today becomes the history.
Oh, I love that.
Okay.
That sounds great.
And everything is free admission?
Yes.
Yes,
Oh,
that's
yes.
why we're doing
Yeah.
raising the money.
Yeah, it's free and open to the public. And then following that presentation, which should end around 8:15, there's gonna be a ticketed reception at the Historical Society, that's gonna start at 8:30, for which people would have to buy a ticket.
Right.
And the Historical Society obviously has a lot smaller capacity than Town Hall, so we're hoping to fill Town Hall, and then those people who are interested in a, kind of more intimate meet and greet or something will have the opportunity to go to the
And he'll
Historical
be at
Society.
the Mead Street.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the book sale
In
inside.
terms of raising money, could it be a contribution thing, for coming to that?
at the Historical Society, I don't know if we can,
You mean a contribution thing at Town Hall,
Yeah.
say, I'd like to support, like a pass the hat?
Right.
Like a
Oh,
box?
there's
Or,
an idea.
or on the
Donation
door,
box.
or,
Or the
yeah,
door box.
donations.
What a
Because
great idea, but
Because
It's
often I'll go to
free.
something that's free
Yeah.
and it's so fantastic, I'm like, wow, I would have paid to go to that. And it's such a good cause and it's
That's a
the
great idea.
beginning,
That's a great idea.
thing, so might jumpstart our
And
finances.
Again, if we could enable some sort of, it would be great if we had like a little table where people could.
That's
bring
what
a
I
check.
meant. Yeah.
Yes.
Or if we had like the card or some way that people,
Yes.
because a lot of times people don't carry the
Yeah.
check, so they might be
Right.
like, oh, I'll
Yeah.
put
Like
you
a
in.
tear-off card that says you can contribute this way.
Yeah.
Right,
something.
or if we could
So you
enable
rest
some
in
kind
homes
of online thing, we could have someone there to say.
Somebody set up Square or something.
Like the
Square?
Square
I
or.
have those.
Yeah, we have.
You know, Square's PayPal, so it might be,
Yeah.
not the Square, it might be a different thing
Yeah.
enabled, same idea,
Yeah.
But that's a great idea. We hadn't really discussed.
Great
that.
idea.
There should be one
I
at
like
every,
that.
every
I think
event.
there should be, because,
yeah, there's absolutely.
Yeah, to offset, yeah, sounds great.
Yeah, so that's really happening. We will also have a musical accompaniment.
Mhm.
I'm looking into some of the high school music organizations, so I think we're really, really close on nailing that down.
Yeah, yeah.
Contact with
So
them.
Just
cool.
a thought too, are you gonna have like a program or a sheet saying so-and-so, like the
Right.
order of what,
Oh, yeah.
who's gonna be talking? and
Yeah,
everything?
so we will have a program, and our sponsors will be listed on the program as well.
I just had a brainstorm, sorry. For this opening ceremony, has anybody talked to DAF Media, or is like Channel 79 filming it? 'Cause maybe they
Channel
could-
79 will definitely be filming.
Okay, I'm just wondering if, because they work closely with DAF Media, like they've seeded or sort of partnered with DAF Media on stuff like the Memorial Day Parade, because DAF Media is DAF Media is the high school kids who film stuff, they film the school
DAF.
concerts. I'll talk to them, I'm actually having another
Okay.
meeting with them later today, I can't believe I didn't think about this before. But they work closely with Channel 79, and they may say it's a 79 thing, or they may say 79 has streamed stuff that DAF has done. Like, for example, the Memorial Day Parade, DAF filmed the whole thing. It's on 79 because DAF has higher res for that kind of situation. It may be that it needs to be 79 because of the cameras are built in and all of that kind of thing. But it might be worth having them, because it would be kind of cool if the kids were there filming it, right? I mean, that would involve more,
Yeah.
Yeah.
so I don't know if that's doable, but it might be worth a conversation, and I will put that on my plate to talk to.
And one other point, we did reserve the space for the day before,
Yes.
as well, for, like, to
But
prepare.
the
for
dry
that.
run,
Yeah.
right.
Oh,
Okay.
okay, okay.
Should you also try and get the professional media, the News 12, or
Yeah, yeah.
that
Okay,
works?
you wanna sign up to do that?
I don't know, who do we know that?
Just call us to.
Yeah.
I know, just calling them is kind of
Yeah.
like, boom. May as well just throw up
Yeah.
the beer airplane.
I think once we have the full.
Yeah.
Yeah, once we have the
Yeah.
press
Yeah.
release, we
We can
can
work on
contact
that,
them,
yes.
exactly.
Yeah, that's part of the distribution.
Yeah.
As soon as the press release, that's News 12 is on.
Oh, so they get pinged with it anyway, that makes
Yeah.
sense, because they're on
But it might be
But it would
good
be
to
good to
follow
follow
up
with a
with
phone
them.
call, somebody to do that, that would be wonderful.
If we-
Because,
If we have a
it would be
line in
great
there.
to have them there, yeah.
So we will have, like Kate said, music presentation, a slideshow. That's gonna be kind of as people are coming in and everything. And then Jamie's gonna speak for a little bit. Scott Pelley will speak, and we'll also have a ranking dignitary speak as well. It's a very, very tight schedule, so we're gonna need some volunteers to usher this. We also will need a system choice singer, Susan.
I'm volunteering.
And to man any tables outside, give out the programs and stuff like that. One thing we do need, Maggie and I and Susan gave a presentation, TownWide presentation in the auditorium about the events of 2020, whole bicentennial thing and some of the history as well. And we had a slideshow presentation and everything, but we're gonna be very busy, so we're gonna we're gonna need somebody very, very tech savvy, an adult, who, if anything goes wrong, they know how to fix it.
Right, maybe that can meet with us on the day before.
Oh, you mean at Heritage Day?
Yeah, or, no, on the
Opening
opening
Yeah,
ceremony.
I mean, opening
Yeah,
ceremony.
right, yeah.
Like tech savvy for.
If something goes wrong
What are
with the
they supporting?
computers, we're gonna
Yeah.
have
Yeah.
laptops, we're
Tech
gonna
support.
have,
So what about Jim
Backups.
Cameron? Has anybody had a discussion with him?
I don't know who.
Yeah.
He is the
he's
tech guy for here.
Yeah.
He's Channel
Oh,
79, but
right,
he's
yeah, no, yeah,
super
I'm sorry,
tech
I
savvy.
didn't know. Yeah.
So
We're gonna
maybe
we're gonna
between
contact
him, Daff,
Yeah.
Yeah.
okay. I think that maybe that is a kind of a combination. I mean, so you're saying for other people's technology, or whose technology? do
No,
we
in case
help with?
something
Make
goes
sure
wrong.
nothing goes
something
wrong
Show
that
the
day.
slideshow.
No,
Present.
I understand, guys, I've had tech problems, but I'm asking Al, like, are we talking about the built-in cameras, or are you talking about other stuff that you're bringing?
Other
like-
stuff, the projector, the laptops.
Where is that coming
flash
from?
drives.
Is that coming from the library, or it's
No.
your own stuff?
So, I gave a presentation to, I can't remember the name
Member
there.
center?
At the Mather Center.
Okay.
Right. And it was Human Resources, and they had a projector, so I borrowed their projector.
Okay,
Historical Society may have a projector that we can use, so we have. and
I have a
the
idea
town-
which
The town
is-
has a projector as well. It's a little old, and I wasn't that crazy about it. We had a little problem setting it up.
Okay,
So
so-
there's 3 projectors, the town has 1, but we need backups for everything. We need backups for laptops, we need backups for projectors.
I can definitely
Slideshow.
have the
So
town
I'm
one as a
thinking-
backup.
Pardon me?
I can definitely have the town one as a backup, because they asked
Yeah.
me to set it up, I was just out of town
is
at
there a
that
town
conference.
tech person that does this stuff? Besides Jim Cameron. Okay, so I have 2 thoughts. One is we talk to Jim Cameron because he
Okay.
knows everything. But the other thing would be maybe instead of like patching together 3 different, your computer and your computer, we ask the library because they have a very robust tech team. We have our board meetings there simply because
Okay.
they come in, as you know, set everything up. If you have a problem, since Alan is on the committee, I
Right,
wonder if we could
yeah.
say, could you loan us tech people to help set up this?
Okay.
And they might say, sure. A lot of their equipment is laptop-y, so maybe they could just send a tech team over to suss it out, and then that person could be on hand to deal with problems.
Yeah, usually you want a group that's gonna bring their equipment, because then they're,
Yeah,
it's all
right,
nodes,
exactly.
rather than,
Yeah.
hey, can you make this quilt
No.
work?
Yeah.
I
Right,
mean,
so it would either be, if it's in-house, I think we would have Jim, but, or the library. I think either of those would be
Yeah.
options.
Yeah, I mean, we will have, TV 79 is gonna be filming it, and we will have a custodian there, do the lights and the screen and whatever,
Right.
but other things, anything tech, he's not doing that.
Well, Jim is the head of the Darien Town Tech Commission, so I think that
I'll talk to
if it's all done, there should be someone on the Darien Tech Commission that could help, and actually Sean is on that commission, but I don't wanna sign him up for too much, but if we go the town route with the tech, like the town
Right.
laptops and stuff, it seems that someone on the town's tech commission, which is like an official commission, like monuments,
Okay,
whatever,
right.
could help with that. If we don't go the town route and we do the library, then we would hopefully be able to get help with the library
Okay.
tech.
Okay,
I had one other thought in terms of volunteers for ushers. We can talk about this later, but I could definitely supply students.
Yeah.
Oh,
That
okay.
would love to
Very
do
nice.
this.
Yeah, I think that's a
That'd
great
be
idea.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
that would be an
That would
honor
be
for them,
awesome,
and
yeah.
It could be
they're very good
service
once you
hours
tell
for
them what
them.
to do. Excuse me?
It could be community service hours for them,
Sure.
I know they're trying to do that kind of stuff.
That'd be great.
What about the Boy Scouts along those lines? Like, if we, send a lead into Boy Scouts want to do this, I mean, they're always trying to do that kind of stuff. No, I think they just,
Yeah,
so
let's-
at Playground by the Sound, I mean, at Wheat Beach Festival, like, we asked a couple of, like 6 Boy Scouts just came out and did whatever. Like, I think, we
Yeah.
can, we have an in with them, I mean, we.
Well, let's offer it to,
Yeah,
Eighth
I mean, I
graders
want it
first.
to everybody,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
the entire
Yeah, anybody.
student body.
yeah. I think that's a good
Obviously, we're
idea.
just saying, like, to supplement, like, how many are we talking?
Well, I have 110 students.
That will
so-
do this? Okay.
Well, that I have
All
access
right,
to
so
every day.
that sounds first, let's start with them.
Sounds
I'm
good.
saying, like, they can be the.
Wouldn't it be great if they wore like the t-shirts with like a long sleeve, because it's January,
Yes.
but, with a long sleeve.
That is a really
And
cute
They would
Yeah,
love that.
So
There's
cute.
my- Yeah.
Excellent.
Um,
I have a different thought, just thinking, do we need a policeman on duty with this kind of a crowd? How do we go about
Yeah, and
security?
working.
all our events, Susan got with the police, and we know the requirements for the police at every event, all 4
Okay.
events.
Just a thought.
Absolutely. Yeah. Okay, so that's the opening ceremony. Next is Anniversary Day. We met with the 3 women who are on the committee for that, and they're visiting the site. That's well underway. We feel really, really good about that. And then there's Heritage Day. So, okay.
She's the one on the board. for-
Right, absolutely. So,
She'll be here shortly.
so, right, so we'll pass on that. So Karen is Carl's wife, and she's the lead for Heritage Day. And she's working, well, she's gonna be here a little late, so we'll pass on that. So that's logo and education. So everybody got the mailing. I think it's really good. I got some very positive feedback. If anybody wants some extra ones, I've got extra ones here. We've got a few hundred
Put
extra
some on the
ones.
counter.
Yeah. so-
Yeah, there you
I'll
go.
put them up in my classroom.
Okay.
They're
So,
very interesting.
absolutely. I've got a lot more in my car. We have to decide, literally, we have about 400 or 500 extra ones. If anybody, I sent one to my daughter, and my son, if anybody would like to send them out to their kids or whatever.
Want us
It
to put a
takes
sticker
2,
over here and
it
2
takes
stamps?
2 stamps.
Yeah.
I just crossed that
Yeah.
out and then just underneath it wrote it. I went to
It
the
takes
post
2
office.
stamps.
Yeah, because I went to the post office and
oversized.
asked them, it's a little oversized.
Oh, yeah.
So it takes 2 forever stamps, 2 regular stamps. So help yourself. If you need more, after the meeting, we can go to the counter.
They really turned out nice.
They
So,
did, yeah.
Shout out to Susan.
Yes.
Absolutely.
And Jamie, who signed it, so,
Yeah.
different Jamie.
But that brings us up to the next mailing that goes out, which is gonna be a trifold. So we're gonna need somebody to write that up and put on that pretty soon. That has to go out in December, right?
I'll start,
Beginning of December.
I have some ideas for it. I think that, there should be maybe a note signed by Jamie, I think on the next one, just
Stevenson.
like, yeah.
Yeah.
And then we have a lot more information now about the, opening ceremony, and, we can have a lot more, like.
Detail on
Yeah,
it, yeah.
and, Al mentioned a lot more photos, so we have a photo of Scott, like, or
Right.
his book, or
Mhm.
things like that to fill up too. And also, we need to speak maybe with the printer, to Kate's point, about, because we had something last year, but it worked okay, but like, people didn't know that this was an envelope necessarily, and I would have put like a little, like, attach here, like a little thing. But we should speak to the printer to find out, like, if we have we can, like.
Yeah, that would be
put in-
good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Either-
Yeah,
absolutely.
That's a great
Either
idea.
add an
Donation
envelope or
opportunity.
just fold one in, too,
Yeah.
so.
What's the most
That's a good
cost
idea.
effective, yeah.
That's
I mean, it may be worth it, you get more
I
donations,
definitely
then
think
it'll
it probably
definitely.
worth it.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
right.
agree. I think if you have a remit envelope, it makes a
I
big
think that
difference.
that's really
Right.
important. And if it's fold, maybe it doesn't even have to be incorporated into the piece. It could be like in the middle and then folded. And
Yeah,
you
it might
wouldn't
not
need to have
be.
like
We've
a
sent
row
out
of stickers.
Like fold up things that just you unfolded and there was an envelope
Yeah.
missing,
It's
right?
separate, yeah. So,
And the designer said she would help with that too.
Great.
She would do that too.
okay, terrific.
So we'll talk about Heritage Day when Karen comes. Weed Beach Festival, Jamie?
Yes, so I followed up with Lisa from Sprout Chefs, our cooking instructor, and she is very excited and wants to partner with us and be involved. I talked to her about doing kind of the mass decorating, which was a little different than we did last year, and she thinks as long as we can supply the hands to assist, or we thought maybe one way, we would still need volunteers, but one way to navigate that a little bit would be requiring like a parent or someone to sign up with the child. So as long as there was some sort of adult figure there, then it would be so much easier to manage everything. She thought that obviously we should do 200 cakes,
Wow.
which is
She is amazing. She is
Is that all?
so amazing.
so I know it'll be a lot, but I mean we're already going big anyway, and it's
She did
cute.
70 last year, so.
Yeah,
you
by
know,
herself,
By
so.
herself, with no help, and all the kids went nuts. Like,
So I
she's
think we
amazing.
can make it happen, and then that's like a good number for a reason.
Yeah.
Because that was kind of something I struggled with, was coming up with how many to do. And then on the financial side, the cakes are $2 a piece, so she can get them for $2 a piece. So she would ask for us to assist with the actual purchase of the cakes, and she'll supply everything else
Oh my
out of,
God.
Wow.
on her
Amazing.
end.
How sweet is that?
So I
do
know.
we make her a sponsor or something?
Yeah,
or
I think
something
we
like
should,
that?
absolutely.
I think we
Anybody
do.
who-
Oh, that's really great.
Yeah,
Yeah,
anybody donates
absolutely.
like that.
She's like an in-kind, I mean, wouldn't put that on a thing, but at least she, you know,
Yeah.
that's, she's putting,
Definitely.
she's really amazing. I mean,
What's her business name?
Sprout
Sprout
Chefs.
Sprout Chefs. That's great.
So I know we set aside in our estimate 250, so it would be 400, but I'm sure we went, we did so many high estimates, I'm sure we'll be able to cover it, no problem. Okay, and then we are gonna have our first subcommittee meeting next week at the Historical Society, Tuesday at 2 p.m. And Al will be sending out a meeting reminder
I don't
as well,
think I got
so.
that. Am I still on the subcommittee? It's
We
okay.
just, we
Oh,
just
okay.
made it,
I was
like.
like, it's okay if you don't need me.
As
I got so much going on.
Happy to have you, you're not getting out of it that easy.
No, we just decided on the time was.
Yeah, okay.
So it'll be a monthly meeting.
Yep,
So
and we'll
like
make it
now
a
and then
monthly
it'll-
meeting after that, and then probably February, get through the holidays, and then in February, we'll start making it a more occurring meeting as we get closer.
So if anybody would like to volunteer for some of these subcommittees,
Yes.
you know, for events, just let me know, or for the birthday bash, let Jamie know.
Absolutely.
So you're saying it's gonna be the
For the opening
second
ceremony.
Tuesday of every month?
No, it'll be,
Maybe we could discuss that at the first
That sounds
meeting,
good.
what
I'd rather
occurring
let's discuss
date.
that at the meeting, that's a potential conflict. that could-
Okay, is Tuesday okay?
This Tuesday works.
Okay, all right, well, we can absolutely, I'll put it on the agenda.
Perfect.
so the historical marker project, I think we settled on 8, and we're very, 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 very close to having the sponsor.
I thought we had a sponsor.
Okay,
I thought I sent you an email.
okay, well, we can announce it now then.
Yeah, I mean, we
Okay.
haven't done the press release, but the Darien Foundation voted unanimously to fund the gift at the $35,000 level.
Right.
Possibly if there was another marker, like we had some conversations, do you want me just to?
Yeah, absolutely.
So
Go for it.
the feedback was that they loved the idea and that they thought it would be great to have some markers in town because our town has walkable areas. So perhaps, and that's Maggie and Al and I have sort of not gone back to the drawing board, but we're incorporated that, and also that maybe the couple of the cemeteries would be better suited by a more somber marker than a sort of interactive, because it's really, you know,
Absolutely.
anyway,
Yeah,
so the idea of if we put this great marker at that cemetery in Hanson Road, even though it's an important cemetery, and you said the Daughters of the American Revolution would take it over, but, so their feedback was families doing this trail, it would be great, and we're in discussions, and I mean, it's 80% there, it's to have one in Grove Street Plaza around that area where people are, which would be great, because people go there for their coffee,
Absolutely.
and somewhere in that area, I was out there with Ward Glassmeyer, whose family owns that. I mean, he still has to finalize it, it's not, but there was great positive reception on that and a positive potential reception on Gopher Park.
Right.
But David Genovese was, he loved the idea, he was just trying to figure out where would be the best spot for it. So that is all in discussions. For anybody who's taping this, it is not a done deal, so please don't report that in the newspaper. But the idea being, we're looking at locations to have it be in a walkable area so people could, and the point that the Darien Foundation Board was, let's use this opportunity to put history in the intersection of where people are in our town.
Absolutely,
So,
yeah.
but still
That's a
the
great
great
idea.
other spots that have been
Yeah.
identified. We'll see how it all shakes out, but so,
Yeah, I think it's a
everyone's
great
really
idea.
excited. We just aren't
Yeah,
doing
thank
the
you
press
very
release
much.
until we finalize the locations, and then you all have some new ideas for spots and content, so it's
Right.
very
And
exciting.
thank you, Sarah.
Yeah,
for
thank
that.
you,
No,
Sarah.
it's not
Yeah.
me, it's not me, it's the board.
For guiding and boarding, the board.
So that's exciting.
Yeah.
I can write in the minutes though that you're a
Oh,
confirmed
yeah, you can
sponsor, just that
totally write that in
details
the
are being.
minutes, I
okay.
just don't want it to be on the front page of the Darien Times when it's not a fact yet.
My minutes
Got
are
that?
on the
It's
front
not
Not
fact yet.
finalized.
It is potentially up for discussion,
Right.
not a fact yet.
Right.
So the ones downtown, we're thinking of having the history of Post Road,
Right,
and also the history of Darien's downtown, the development of.
with the train and everything coming, right? It's
Right.
changed, you know, the downtown
Absolutely.
was at Rings End, which is gonna be another spot. So.
Alright.
But, so people are really excited about that, and I think it's gonna be a cool project, so.
Definitely.
It's the best birthday present for the town. It's
Yes,
great.
absolutely.
It's
Thanks,
great.
thanks to
Thank you.
Darien
Thanks.
Foundation.
Thanks.
So it's a big, big win. So with the Thaddeus Bell site, the DAR is putting a plaque that they do for all people who served in the Revolution on our side, I guess. So they will have
Our
a.
side. The winning
It's the
side.
winning side.
The north.
So they will have a plaque at Anniversary Day, there will be a plaque there. The Thaddeus Bell's wife's gravestone was knocked over, was in very, very bad condition, so I know a couple of meetings ago, we funded Andrew to restore that, and he started that restoration already. So I met with him Saturday at the site, so
Oh, great.
he's well on that, so
Nice.
that's really good.
Yeah, he was
So-
asking me a whole bunch of questions. and-
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, cool, okay.
He was, yeah, because we were discussing preservation before
Yeah.
he starts to repair.
So Karen Bocadoro just walked in, and she's the lead on Heritage Day.
Yes.
So we do have a date. Do you want to talk about it a little bit? So before you say
Yes.
anything, we are being filmed,
Oh,
and it's
yes.
available for, okay.
So I should make sure I use nice words. I'm only kidding. That's not usually nice words. Hi, I'm Karen Bocadoro. I'm on the board of the 5th Connecticut Regiment. And my husband and I are also active at the Darien Historical Society. So at this point, we did set a date. I think it's the 3rd week of October 2020, the 2020.
24th and the 25th of
The
the.
25th is a rain date, so my group's on board. We've already talked about it. I really can't tell you exactly what would be available until probably about 6 weeks before. But there's a possibility of things. We have a woodworker in the group. We have a whitesmith in the group. Many of us like to cook. We have a woman who weaves. She does small things at events. We have a lot of talent, and we can bring forth a lot of things. And at the last Heritage Day meeting, we need, we need loyalists and we need patriots, and most of our members have more than one set of clothes, so we can dress like a loyalist, we can dress like a civilian, we can dress like a patriot, we can dress like a British Marine. So we can supply everything needed for that day. And I actually did talk to the cannon man. There's a potential to cannon. And if we have the hour space in between having the cannon at the Historical Society just for show, the cannon crew can get it back onto his truck, and we can get it to the Mather Homestead and actually fire it,
Wow, that's
weather permitting. So
Wonderful. That's great.
I think
news.
that's
That'd be
about it
really
for
cool.
now.
Absolutely. And
That's
it's
fun.
so exciting, there's
Great.
gonna be tons of stuff for kids to do.
So,
Tons of
yeah,
classes.
we thrive on things like this. And I had wanted a September date, but we have another large event happening in September in Bolton, Connecticut. So it was wise to choose the date that you all originally wanted for Heritage Day to begin with, so.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you so
Yeah.
much. It's so exciting.
We had discussed generally that part of the day, in the morning time maybe, or late morning, we'd have like colonial games and like the blacksmith or the whitesmith, not the blacksmith, the whitesmith,
Oh,
those
yeah.
kind of things there, and then move over to Mather,
We'll
right?
do like, yeah, the displays and those things will be at the Historical Society, and then we'll reconvene an hour later at Mather Homestead for an actual, it was a raid, right?
Skirmish, like a skirmish?
We'll have a skirmish, but it was a raid on
Raid,
it,
right,
right?
right.
Okay.
Like a reenactment.
So we'll have a raid.
So, yeah, and a cannon shot too, so that's great.
So exciting.
Yeah,
That's
it's
so
really
cool.
exciting, thank you so much.
Thank you
This
so
is
much.
great.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
Now, the group lives to do this stuff, and we're just happy that we could get the group to agree to this. They're all
We are
pretty
too. This
excited.
is really great.
Don't need much convincing, okay.
Yeah, so it will take place both at the Darien Historical Society and
That's
Mather
great.
House.
And
I
then
think
we'll
we're
move
gonna-
up to the, yeah.
And we're gonna start at the Historical Society and then
Yeah.
kind of move up to the Mather House, but,
I have a question
Yes.
actually,
Sure.
that just because we talked a little before about, so we have in town a project with the high school kids, it's Daft Media, and it's Darien High School kids, and it started as them filming sports games, like the, lacrosse games or whatever. And then they started filming like school concerts, they can't do plays because of trademark issues. They do like the town parade, they do that kind of stuff, like they do the Memorial Day parade. Is that something that would be an issue if the kids wanted to somehow film some of it for Daft Media?
Not at all.
They make it available on YouTube, it's free, there's no, it's more like a school project, but it's really great, and they.
Not at all. Several of us have been interviewed, and
Okay, cool.
many of us have shown up on, local nightly news.
Okay, so.
Not a problem.
That's a great, okay, super.
Thank you, Karen.
Okay, so we have 10 minutes left. Sponsorship, communications and town websites. I made a presentation to the Human Services Planning Council, that's the one at Mather that I forgot about before. It was very, very well received with the projector and everything. We had a town meeting here, just to run through some of these townwide presentations. We're doing another one for the faith community next week
On the 17th.
on the 17th.
Right.
Maggie, you wanna find me another one?
Yeah, you mean the other one at the library is on the
Right.
21st, November 21st, at, I think 11. I have 10 to 1, the room reserved, but I think it's 11 o'clock. I'll double check that, but, and then also the faith community, we're wondering if we could reach out to them again with that same letter, just to follow up and send that out.
Did you hear
one more
back
time.
from?
I did hear back from the First Congregational Church, and they said they're gonna attend.
Oh, good.
I think one others I did hear back from, so a couple did. I'll personally talk to my neighbors, Northern Presbyterian, so I'll personally talk to them.
Right.
Because maybe the better thing to do would be to send individual emails. I know the way that we sent it initially was to sort of BCC
Right.
everybody, but it feels less personal.
Right.
I think sometimes you get better luck if you just copy and paste it 10 or 15
Right.
times.
Or
I can take care of that.
even
Okay,
maybe
right.
following a call, just
Yeah.
to see if they're going to attend, I think
If you wanna mail it out, and then at the end of the week, I can call if.
Okay.
We can just maybe
Sure.
divvy
Sure.
up the churches and call.
And so right now you've got a commitment, just so that I don't bombard someone who's already committed.
First Congregational Church,
First.
and one other, I'll email you the other person.
Okay, great. So I won't send anything until I hear the other.
And then sponsorship, we're almost ready to send out a letter asking for corporate sponsors.
Who's sending that letter, just out of curiosity?
I think it has to come from,
The town. Is it
Right, it has to
a
come from
physical
Jane.
letter that the town will generate and send, or is it an email they're sending?
I'm not sure, I think a physical letter would be better, I'm not sure.
So, and then follow up with the brochure.
No, the brochure goes in the letter.
Okay.
It's all together.
All right.
Yeah,
So the people get the letter like, here's the thing, and here's the
And it's going to be
sponsorship.
mailed from the town.
Yeah.
I'll talk to Linda O'Leary
Yeah,
about that.
that's great, because I was like, I don't think we have the, like, this group probably couldn't put that together. It should come from the town will figure it
Absolutely.
out, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sounds good, and then we could make it also, like, have a bullet point letter from Jamie that could maybe be sent out to the community. Like, at one point Susan had said she'd send something to, Chamber of Commerce or whatever, if the town has an
Right.
email list.
I think we have, do we have that letter? I think we worked on
Which-
that, right? A letter to.
Sponsorship wise?
I wrote, yeah, we have a
We have a
sponsorship letter that we
sponsorship
got
letter, but
feedback
also an
on.
outreach letter to other businesses. No?
I didn't work, I worked on
I think
the
I-
I'm
politician
sure we could
letters.
just slightly edit the sponsor letter,
Okay.
it's the same idea, that businesses.
And just, if it's on Jamie's letterhead, just make sure that they add our logo at the bottom.
Yes,
like
right.
they did
That's a great idea.
letters that we sent out.
So the next item is just a general discussion. I'm gonna make a meeting about the time capsule with the library, and Dave, if you wanna be on that. Display case we talked about. So a general discussion, anybody want to chime in on anything?
I have a question.
Sure.
So, has there been any discussion, I don't know, this might be in some sort of marketing bucket, I guess, whether it be sort of the opening ceremony or the beach bash, but like banners in the town,
Yeah,
you
so
know,
that's-
across the post road or the flags kind of thing hanging off the, you know, like we have all those lampposts with the flowers and all, like banners that
So-
kind of, I know towns do that.
Not so good. So
Not
as
so
far
good,
as
no?
at the events,
Yeah.
we will have banners, and they will have our sponsors, the sponsor's name on it. That's part of what we're
Offering.
part of the offering, part of the.
Yeah, at the
promotion of
event,
that.
I meant like a
But in
promotion.
addition to that,
Yeah.
we looked into putting banners on the lampposts. We talked to the architectural board and planning and zoning, because we were thinking about putting in Tilly Pond Park.
Parks and Rec, that was, yeah.
We're still working through some wickets. There's a lot to do with the town.
I see.
so.
A lot of red tape. Gotcha.
Yeah, a lot to-
You're
a lot to
Have
go
we
on.
ever,
Okay.
what he said, had a banner across like the post road and Dayton?
I don't know, that's why I was asking, I know
don't think
other
we do that.
towns have done that, but
Yeah.
that's why I was
I'm not sure
just
I've ever
inquiring,
seen, but,
you know,
yeah.
it happens only once every 200 years, so
Yeah.
that's why I wondered.
Yeah. We had some meetings, we got some favorable response from the architecture review board, planning and parks department. There's some other wickets that.
I understand they want to keep things, you know, tasteful and all that, so
Yeah.
it's, you know, a matter of.
So we could do
it's
yard signs or
good.
something as we get closer to
Yeah, we're
events.
gonna do, yeah. Anything else? Anybody else?
Something just kind of occurred to me, because since he was talking about the flagpoles, you know, in
The
the
light
summer where they
poles.
have American flags on where the baskets are hanging on, the beautification
Right.
does. Is it a double thing, I think? Is there two pole things or
There's
just
two-
one flag?
There's
Two
two
flags.
flags and two baskets.
So I was just thinking the flag, if you have like the American flag and our bicentennial flag on each one, you know, so you have one of each.
Yeah, except, you know, we thought about that, and if there's no wind, you can't really see the bicentennial. You can't see the logo, and you can't see if we're gonna have a sponsor put their logo on the banner, you can't see it.
Mm.
And then if the wind is blowing, it's blowing all over the place, so
Okay.
we were thinking about other things. We thought about that, we did
Just
a
a thought.
lot of work on this.
Mm.
I know
Still
you've done
on
a
it.
ton of work on it, but I think Suzanne has a good point, like, if the whole thing doesn't go through as far as a sponsor option, maybe we do go back to the people who do the flags and ask, I get that the logo's hard to
Yeah,
see, but
right.
maybe we go back and say, can one of them be the American flag and one just say
Yeah.
06820? That would
Or
be
the-
easy to see.
yeah.
And
I
not
mean,
sell them as sponsorships, just have.
Well, if we aren't allowed to. If we're allowed to sell them as sponsorships, I think we go that route and get a couple of quotes and make that happen. But if we can't sell them, I think she's right to at least promote it, see how expensive that would be, because they're already doing it for the town. Maybe they would do small
Yeah.
flags and
Okay.
say
That's
068.
not-
Just small
As a
flag,
backup.
that's what I'm saying, just a small flag,
Yeah.
just, you know,
Yeah.
America and
It'd be
Darien.
better if we could
together.
do the sponsorship flags, but that
Okay.
sounds like that might not happen, so.
Okay.
I don't feel like we can put anything across the street. No, we have 18-wheelers going up and down.
Right.
I don't know if you have thought about this yet. Could we do something like that on the train bridge? On the
I don't think
post
we're
road?
allowed to put banners anymore.
That's a
I
great-
think,
It's
I
already
think there's
there,
something
then.
against that.
Yeah, I mean, if it were solid, I don't know, obviously Metro North would have to, because it's their bridge,
I think it's
right?
very
Would have to
doubtful.
weigh in on that.
Yeah, because they used to, they can't, because I know this, I think the Boy Scouts, I think at one time I could be totally wrong, but I think they wanted to put the tag sale up there, and I don't think they're allowed to, if I remember correctly.
But maybe I-95, well,
No,
that's
not allowed.
no,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, DOT will take it down, so.
Okay, well,
I'm kind
I
of
like
with
that
Dave
idea,
though, this
though.
isn't like a small one-time, or a recurring event. This is
Exactly,
a
but-
one-time.
I know, yeah, you're right, maybe we can get some sort of an easement or whatever you call
Yeah,
it.
The answer is always no unless you ask.
Dispensation?
It's not like we Beach Fest, where we're gonna be like, just this year, and then next year ask again. I mean, this is kind
I mean,
of,
that's one of the great
in
things.
200 years, if they ask again, then, you know.
No one will remember.
Anyway. We got 2 more minutes. Anybody else?
Just one other thought, the town does a, you know, the tree lighting and stuff at Thanksgiving. Is there a way that we can get our event promoted at that town event?
I run that event, absolutely.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, yeah, great idea.
Yeah, as long as we can, I'll work with whoever Maggie and Al or somebody else, but it's just very important to Gina with the sport shop, because
Yeah.
technically it's their event.
Right,
I
right.
just run like the extra fun stuff, but I can do pretty
That'd
much
be
anything,
perfect.
but she
That'd be
wants
great.
everything to be free. So as long as we were only giving things away, I could talk to her about if we wanted to accept donations at the event, but as long as we were just giving stuff away, we can't,
Because
nothing.
it'll be, you know,
Yeah,
probably
that's a
5
great
weeks
idea.
out
Yeah.
from the.
I
the
totally
We're gonna make the
Ceremony, yeah.
announcement there.
We just couldn't like sell merchandise,
Right.
but
Right.
whether we had a box for donations, I think
Uh-huh.
she would be supportive of that, but I can have that conversation.
Great. That's great.
Anybody else? Okay, is there a motion to adjourn?
I move to adjourn.
And second? Any seconds?
A second.
Okay. Everybody in favor of adjourning, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?